name is Jim Grover. I'm Dean of the Graduate School at the University of Texas at Arlington. I became involved with the Regional Collaborative Project at the stage of the proposal development, more towards the later stage of proposal development. We became involved as an institution on the invitation of some of the other UT system institutions like UT El Paso, who have all been participating for many years in the LSAMP doctoral bridge sort of projects. And through that and some of the associated activities for undergraduate students, we have had a lot of interactions with folks from the community colleges that are situated near University of Texas institutions. And so as the idea of regional collaboratives was being developed for the Aspire Alliance project, we were asked to become involved at that early stage. And so we were among the institutions that got involved from the start of the Aspire Alliance. At UT Arlington, we set up a collaborative with Tarrant County College, one of the largest colleges of any kind in the United States, certainly one of the largest community colleges. And our project involved getting PhD students and other grad students involved in doing a teaching practicum at Tarrant County College, getting some professional development to help them be good teachers before they went into the classroom for a few sessions, having a genuine teaching experience, and then reflecting and debriefing that experience with a mentor from the community college. We had a fairly large number of students go through this program. We had, I don't remember the figures, it's several dozen who went through it. Many of them did eventually go into higher education in a teaching role as faculty members, either at 4-year or 2-year colleges. So from that standpoint, we regard what we did as being very successful. I want to talk a little bit about what you do to fund a regional collaborative, especially if you don't have federal grant funding, or maybe you don't have sufficient federal grant funding for such a project. So we did have federal funding, but we also spent some of our own money in support of that to enlarge the program and be able to do more. And I've certainly been involved at my university in obtaining funding around other kinds of professional development projects for graduate students and for postdocs, partly to help them become better teachers, but also in other directions. I think in raising money internally from the institution where you work, you have to have a very clear understanding of what the strategic priorities of the institution are, and learn how to articulate what you want to do as being in support of those strategic priorities. Most research universities place a high value on their PhD students, on the success of their PhD students, and on developing their PhD students to be faculty members somewhere in the future. And so what we did within the context of the regional collaboratives was help prepare a lot of graduate students to become faculty members in higher education, be more effective and inclusive teachers. And that supports the priority that our institution has on the success of our PhD students. So that's the sort of thing that you need to understand about your own institution. If you're a person like me who works in the 4-year side in graduate education, you need to understand your institution's priorities for graduate students and how your work will support that. The other thing that you have to be able to do is understand the priorities of the partner institution that you have. And in this case, it's a partnership between 4-year and 2-year institutions. So you have to understand what community colleges' needs are and priorities are. And those might be things such as having access to a talent pool of potential faculty that is nearby, that is educated to an appropriate level, and that's experienced and ready to teach in the classroom. So by being able to develop that kind of talent pool in the form of graduate students who have had a teaching experience and had some practical experience, the community colleges benefit by being able to hire, sometimes in fields where it is difficult for them to hire. It can be difficult for community colleges to attract people who are qualified in STEM fields when they have many other opportunities elsewhere in higher education, but also in private employment. So it's hard for them to get faculty. And that's perhaps even more true at rural community colleges than it is at urban community colleges. And in the collaborative that I worked in, there was also a partnership between the University of Texas at Tyler, which is a relatively small city, and the Tyler Junior College, which is the community college in that region. And they have a very difficult time because they are in a somewhat isolated location compared to the Dallas-Fort Worth area where I am. They have a difficult time attracting the kinds of faculty that they want for their community college. And so if there are institutions with graduate programs that can support the development of talent to serve in the community colleges as faculty, that answers a priority need of the community colleges. So to summarize, if you want to run a regional collaborative and obtain internal and institutional funding to do so, you have to understand what the strategic priorities and needs are for the institutions that will be involved and be able to articulate how the work that you do will support fulfilling those needs and supporting those strategic priorities. Thank you.